And we have the whole cosmos, which is it's a huge celebration of the divine. All those stars that come into relationships and form galaxies, each supporting numerous solar systems. How can that not be a celebration of joy? And so you see, at the vastest level, this is what the divine is. You're living at a time when many people are focused on how hard it is, or some, how bad it is. Others, how even if there has been an attempt to protect their health and safety, they see it as control. They see it as limiting their individual rights. Now, this has to come up. I know it isn't pretty, but it has to come up because these are some of the flawed uses of patriarchal energy that came out of the Piscean age. And if we are to dismantle those older forms of energies, which are not really helpful, and they won't be helpful going on, the planet has too many people on it right now to engage in those old forms of, I would say, government, but it isn't just government. It came into religion. It certainly came into the family. It came into educational systems. And so we have to look at all of this and envision something new. Now, be very careful about using the word better. I know that's tempting, and I hope it will feel better to all of you to be rid of those heavier Piscean energies. The Piscean age did some wonderful things. We have this technology because of the latter evolution of consciousness in the latter Piscean age. It was also an age of education, an age of teaching and learning. In fact, it was an age that produced many great teachers, spiritual teachers. The Buddha came just a little bit before we actually, about 500 years before we actually marked the beginning of the Piscean age. But you see, the Indian masters had been there far longer. They go back, way back. In fact, some scholars who have looked into it have said that there were versions of Shaivism, which is not let's say, the way people would honor the deity Shiva today. But there were some versions that have gone back as far as 8,000 to 10,000 years. So you see, this tradition is very old. Yes, it has moved and changed over time. That's life. You move and change over time. You know, your bodies don't look like they looked when you were 5 or 15 or 30. You see, as you move along, things change. And the Buddha always pointed out that one of the biggest reasons that people suffer is because things change. If you take, as an example, people suffering with this COVID-19 virus, something changed. One day they didn't have it. The next day they were very sick. And in that kind of change, there's a lot of suffering. But people suffer for all kinds of change. You have the perfect relationship with someone and something happens and it changes. Or you have children who adore you when they're young, and then they become teenagers. And it's kind of hard to find that adoration, isn't it? Because they're trying to develop their own way in life and figure out who they are. And those of you who have raised teenagers know this very well. Who they are then is not who they're going to be when they become fully realized as an adult. And hopefully they won't be the same person at 30 that they were at 20, nor at 50 who they were at 30. The whole idea is to grow and become wiser. That's what life is about. So you can see it is really your school, isn't it? Life is your school. But what are you learning? Are you just learning how to accumulate all those digital toys? They're helpful. Without them, we could not do this. But how many is enough? How much of other things is enough?